Hollywood Walk of Fame has been named the worst tourist attraction, not just in the nation, in the world. A travel company called Stasher says the Walk of Fame is not safe. It's too far from the airport, not worth the effort to look at the ground. And the worst part, it is in the dead. What is this? The tourist attraction?
The second.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
I got ahead of myself. The second worst tourist attraction is the Dead Sea in the Middle East. I would think that would be at the top of the list.
Cool too. Yeah, right. Well, it's not often that you hear someone say, "Why don't you take a look at the snow in Florida?" But that looks like it could have been King Drive. The Panhandle packed up to an inch of snow on Sunday, which probably meant the entire state of Florida was shut down. I can guarantee you it definitely was. Florida's had snow for the past 2 years. That's one of those places they shut down.
Good Day Chicago at 8 starts now.
Coming up on Good Day this morning, it is Martin Luther King Jr. Day, how Chicago is honoring his legacy with a day of service.
And don't be sad it's over. Be glad it just happened. Lou's going to join us to talk about the Bears' great season and why we should be excited for next year.
It was a great team. Well, data centers are starting to move into communities all over the state. We'll be joined by a Naperville council member to talk about some of the pros and cons.
And it is literally freezing out there. The wind chill negative, I'm going to say, but Caitlin would know the answer to that. But that's what it feels like, Caitlin Cody.
That's right. Temperatures are actually below zero for a few of you. Feeling absolutely like we could be below zero. Actual temperatures are behind me. You can see it's 0 at the lakefront, 1 degree below 0 at O'Hare, 2 degrees below 0 in Aurora, 3 below 0 in DeKalb. Northwest Indiana temperatures for you are around 1 to 5 degrees. So it is very cold. Also, we have gusty wind. Right now, these gusts are coming in at 33 miles per hour at Midway, 34 miles per hour in Aurora, 32 in Morris. And we have some light snow around. So it could be blowing as you're driving this morning. I have to say, take your time. I saw so many people sliding out this morning on the highways because you're just booking it. Know that it could be icy out there. The feel-like temperature currently 20 degrees below 0 from the lakefront to O'Hare, 26 degrees below 0 in Aurora. It's going to be a cold one. We are going to have some sunshine. We also have more snow in the forecast this week, along with cold temperatures continuing. I'll show you your full forecast ahead. Natalie.
Thanks so much, Caitlin. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s daughter says her father's message still rings true today. Bernice King says her father's legacy stands in opposition to many of the actions taken by the Trump administration. She says the holiday and her father's legacy serve as reminders of hope and the ability to challenge injustice and inhumanity.
When we see what's happening right now in our communities with ICE agents and the way in which they are dealing with people, very disturbing, very troubling. I dare say that the very nonviolence that people always want to suggest that activists lean into, we need ICE agents to lean into it. We need law enforcement to lean into it.
Bernice King is encouraging people to participate in service projects to foster connections. She's also encouraging people to reflect on what they can do to help make the world a better place.
The Education Department says it will not garnish the wages of people who are in default on their student loans. It claims it wants to help student loan holders resume their payments and give them more clear, affordable options. The president's One Big Beautiful Bill reduced the number of payment options for borrowers, but allows for people to waive their unpaid interest if they make their payments on time.
4 people remain hospitalized in a fatal crash on DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Woman was killed yesterday morning in that crash. She was a passenger in the car heading on South DuSable Lakeshore Drive. Police say the driver lost control, hit a pole, and crashed into the median. The driver and 3 others in the car were hospitalized. They are expected to recover.
2 businesses were heavily damaged when a building caught fire in McHenry. Crews responded to the scene yesterday afternoon on Riverside Drive. As you can see on your screen there, heavy smoke could be seen pouring out of the building. City leaders say that both Riverside Bakery and Reese's Bakery were significantly damaged. Riverside Bakery has been in business for more than 50 years. One woman says it is a staple in that community.
All the locals go here. They're known for their cookies and their chocolate donuts. The family's owned it forever, generations. And yeah, I mean, it's sad.
McHenry's mayor released a statement calling this a truly sad day for the city. He also says he has reached out to both businesses to offer assistance as they work to either rebuild or relocate.
Orland Park could vote this week on a proposed Amazon retail development. Earlier this month, the Planning Commission advanced the plan. It is planned for the corner of 159th Street and LaGrange Road. It would replace the vacant Petey's 2 restaurant.
The European Union seems more willing to negotiate than retaliate over Greenland. Over the weekend, President Trump said that he would impose a 10% tariff on countries who did not support the U.S. attempt to take over Greenland. Some of the EU nations have told the president that they want to de-escalate the situation, although France says it is willing to use a trade tactic that the EU never has, putting restrictions on American companies from operating in Europe.
At least 39 people have been killed in a high-speed train crash in Spain, and crews believe there are still people in the wreckage. The 2 trains collided last night. High-speed rail service in southern Spain has been suspended today. The rail company says service could be disrupted for days.
The Pentagon has placed about 1,500 active duty soldiers on standby for a possible deployment to Minnesota. Defense officials say that 2 Army infantry battalions based in Alaska have received prepared to deploy orders. The president threatened last week to invoke the Insurrection Act to kind of tamp down some of those protests. They rarely use law would allow active duty troops to perform law enforcement duties.
Historically, the Insurrection Act has been used for really large-scale violent riots, usually race riots or labor riots or slave rebellions. Those were the kind of reasons that presidents typically invoke the Insurrection Act. What's going on in Minnesota doesn't seem to have risen to that level, at least at this point.
On Friday, the president appeared to walk back his comments, telling reporters he doesn't think that the Insurrection Act is needed right now, one day after Minnesota's governor pleaded to turn the temperature down. Well, it is a day to celebrate the legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by following his lead.
And Roseanne is live with how students are taking part in a day of service. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning. We're at Morgan Park High School for this Martin Luther King Day of Service. So while all the students are taking the day off, an army of volunteers has filled this area. There are 700 volunteers, we're told, that are going to be taking part in this day of service. A city year is behind it, and I have the Chief of Staff, Dr. Jaya Miller, with us this morning. Thank you for talking to us.
No problem. Good morning. Thank you.
So tell us how this is going to go. It sounds like you have so many projects that you plan to do in one day. Tell us about some of them.
So we have, like you said, roughly 250 AmeriCorps members, 500 external volunteers coming in today to essentially commemorate and honor the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King through service, as that is one of the biggest tenets of City of Chicago, our civic engagement. So we will be beautifying the school through murals, through art projects. We'll be putting together kits for veterans, friendship bracelets. We'll be putting together boards and things to go into our teachers' classrooms so that they can have something to look at every day. So we're just really excited about beautifying Morgan Park, making it a space that kids will love to come to every day through our commitment to service and through Dr. King's life and legacy.
So it all starts with breakfast. Everybody's getting organized right now. That's what you're seeing. Officially, I think the work begins at 10, did you say?
Yes, our formal program begins at 10 a.m.
So tell us a little bit about City Year and AmeriCorps and what these volunteers are getting out of these, I'm going to call them opportunities to come and serve their communities.
Yeah, so City Year is a nonprofit here in Chicago. We employ roughly 250 AmeriCorps members who serve every single day inside 28 CPS schools and 2 suburban schools. We are here every day working in schools to support students academically, behaviorally, and we support with attendance. Just another tenet of what we do for Chicago Public Schools and for the City of Chicago is our beautification projects through our civic engagement arm.
So this is every day, really, but especially on Martin Luther King Day, it takes on a new meaning. Tell me about that.
Yes, and so we are very proud to be at Morgan Park. It is one of our partner schools. The school is already beautiful, but we are here to beautify it even more so that when students come back on Tuesday morning, their walls will be filled with murals that represent the mission and the values of the school. They'll have an opportunity to go in their classrooms now that will have fresh paint lots of, really beautiful things for students to have as they continue to propel this school forward.
What do the volunteers get out of this, and who are they? Give us an idea of how old they are and that kind of thing.
So our volunteers, our core members, are 18 to 24-year-old AmeriCorps members who are serving with us all year long. In addition to them, we have roughly 500 external volunteers who are coming. Many of them are just community members who are invested in Morgan Park. We have corporate sponsors who are coming. We have the Chicago Metropolitan Alumni Chapter of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated here. We have Little Fuse. We just have a lot of, it's a myriad and a mixture of lots of different community-based organizations and corporate sponsors and AmeriCorps members and people that just
In a word, what do you get out of it? What, for you personally and for the volunteers?
We just get an opportunity to have, to give back to the community. This is a day on and not a day off. And so we are just fortunate enough to be able to serve. We just want to serve.
That is awesome. Well, we are glad to be spending the day with you because we want to see what this turns into. So we're going to be hanging out here at Morgan Park High School, and we'll be checking in with you later in the show. Back to you in the studio.
Love that, a day to serve.
And thank you so much, Dr. Miller.
Thanks, Roseanne.
All right, time is now 8:11 this morning. We got to relive what happened last night when Caleb Williams had this miracle play running like 50 yards behind the line of scrimmage and completing this touchdown on 4th down. Thought the Bears were going to do it again, but this time the magic runs out. Overtime, Bears loses 20-17 as the LA Rams now head to the NFC Championship game. The Bears said that they may be hurting, but they know that it's only going to get better from here.
You all sacrifice family time, and things like that, and all that you sacrifice to be in this position, to be in those moments. And so it's tough. And so, in these moments, you feel that you let your team down, or you feel that you this or that. And it's a good lesson learned for us. First time being in this situation for me and for us as a team. And, I'm excited for what's to come.
It's the NFL, right? You make it to the tournament like this, and the moment we knew we had to win 4 in a row to actually feel good at the end of the thing, and we didn't get that done. And so this is what happens: is it ends abruptly. And for the young players in the room, it's like, okay, well, we come in tomorrow and we go through the exit process, and then we go on.
That was year 1 for head coach Ben Johnson. A heck of a year, setting the record for the most comeback wins in a single season.
Man alive, it is not the way we wanted to see it go, but
I think it was great, though. It was a great game.
It was a great run, yeah.
And the fact that he ran back, sprinted backwards.
Where is he going?
To be able to get that good look and get that.
That was incredible.
Wow.
To your boy, Cole Kmet.
Wow. Oh, I know. You may not have heard it, but Cole Kmet said this is dedicated to Natalie Bomke and the Good Day Chicago team.
There we go.
There was no mic around when he said that, but yeah.
We trust your sources on that one.
Thank you, Brian.
I love it. It was a great season. I think we're all this morning. I haven't seen anybody just down in the dumps.
No.
I think we're happy with where we were this season.
Yeah.
Okay, now talking about the weather. Unfortunately, it is very cold this morning, cold enough that it feels like we could be at 20 to 25 degrees below zero. That's the wind chill because it's gusty. Of course, it's gusty out there. So we have this cold weather advisory in place until noon today, but all day it's going to be cold and it's slick out there. So if you haven't left the house yet, know that you could run into some patchy ice. I know I saw it out there, especially 65. I saw a couple people slipping and sliding out there. Just go slow. I know it looks like it might just be wet, but it's probably ice. Now, our wind chill, as mentioned, this is going to be an issue today. Right now, it feels like we could be 26 degrees below zero in Aurora, 27 degrees below zero in DeKalb. We are approaching 30 degrees below zero with the wind chill. Now, our future cast, these are our actual temperatures. Highs today around 5 to 10 degrees. Now, we do have some light snow flurries around until about midday, and then we're going to have drier weather, and we are going to have some sunshine, but my goodness, it's going to be chilly. Make sure you limit your exposure. We'll take a look at your full 7-day forecast ahead.
All right, thank you, Caitlin. There's a big debate over a data center. We're going to talk with a Naperville council member about what that could mean for the community if they decide to build it.
Yeah, and in just a few minutes, Arlo Canellis will join us to talk about where the Bears will go from here. We got more news, weather, and traffic coming up. But first, here's a look at your 7-day forecast.
What are you girls doing?
We're doing all the heating, plumbing, and electric around here.
All right, I know you girls know stuff, but let's leave it to our trusted local experts. Let's call Four Seasons.
It's about time you figured it out.
Whether it's heating, cooling, plumbing, electric, air duct cleaning, or generators, you can always trust Four Seasons.
For all the right reasons, call 866-4 Seasons.
Welcome back. Time is now 8:17. Here's a live look at the annual Rainbow Push Coalition MLK breakfast. We're expecting Mayor Johnson to be there in a little bit, as well as a number of other officials will be checking in there all morning long.
And before that, we want to head over to Caitlin Cody for another check of the forecast. Kind of a treacherous commute for a lot of people, and just so cold out there, Brian.
Very cold, right? Temperatures out there in the single digits.
Oh,
like
yeah.
Put on all
Awful.
your layers.
Highs in the single digits today. Feels like we could be well below zero, and it's gusty. So this is where I wanted to start, because we have those winds currently gusting at 36 miles per hour in Kankakee, as well as Midway, 29 miles per hour at O'Hare. The wind on top of the cold means that feel-like temperature is dropping to about 20 to almost 30 degrees below zero. It feels like 20 degrees below zero at O'Hare right now. So number one headline is that it could be slick on the roads. Number two, very cold, and we are going to stay cold all day long. We have the chance for some light flurry activity until about midday, and I wanted to show you the rest of our future cast because we only got until about this point last time you saw me. So lunchtime hour, temperatures are in the single digits, 5 to 10 degrees, and then we work our way into the evening. Notice we still have partly cloudy skies, 3:45, temperatures hovering around 6 or 7, 7 o'clock, still around 6, and then we get into tonight. It's going to be another cold night, but notice we're done with the snow for now, although we have the potential for snow returning before you know it. Here we go, Tuesday, 9 p.m. Temperatures are hovering in the upper teens, and we have some snow around. As we work our way into your Wednesday, this is 5:30 in the morning Wednesday, mid to upper 20s, and we still have the clouds and that potential for snow pushing into early Wednesday. Your 7-day forecast does have a high of about 30 on Wednesday, and then on Thursday, 20, down to 6 as our high on Friday. So the cold air, it's here today, and then it does return at the end of the week, and that's actually going to be pushing into our weekend too. Saturday's high right around 7, so brutally cold air again to end the week and head into the weekend, and then around 13 on Sunday. So for today, limit your exposure if you can. If you're headed out the door, 18, that was earlier this morning. This afternoon is going to be closer to 5 to 10 degrees. Brian.
Well, the Naperville Council is set to vote on a new data center this week. There's been a lot of controversy in some communities about what they could mean, including how much power they would draw. Naperville Councilmember Ian Holzhauer is joining us this morning. Thanks so much for your time this morning.
Hey, Brian, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you being here.
Absolutely.
All right, so what are you hearing about some of the concerns that some of your constituents are having about this potential new data center?
Sure. The data center that's been proposed is about 500 feet from the nearest house. One of the residents in a nearby neighborhood actually has a child who's born without one lung. So the emissions from 24 diesel generators, which are about the size of locomotives, are a real concern. There's a sensory garden for children with autism nearby, a Montessori school, and a place of worship.
And we're also hearing some of the concerns about these data centers are the impact they're going to have on the electric grid, including people's bills. So what are you hearing about some of the impacts there?
Sure. Well, even phase one of the data center that is being proposed would use as much power as tens of thousands of Naperville residents. Now, that's not the primary legal thing that I have to focus on when making this decision, but it's definitely out there.
And we've talked about some of, I guess, the negatives of this data center, but what are some of the positives for residents there?
Oh, for sure. I mean, within Chicagoland, when a new data center goes up, that's union jobs, that's good jobs for constructing the building. Once the construction's done, they're not a huge employer, but for sure that construction, and sometimes in sites that haven't been used in a while, it can be a big deal. Just Naperville, you know, we always get a reputation, best community in America. We're not sure that's necessarily the best site.
When it comes to making this decision, walk us through what does that process look like? What are you all considering, whether it's other locations, not having this data center at all?
Sure. Well, luckily we have a municipal code which makes it really easy. There's 4 factors we have to consider. One of them is the health and welfare of the community. I mentioned some of those concerns to you. But another one is what does our land use master plan say? What we call for is medium density residential in that area, which is another thing we've really been thinking about.
Can you take us inside some of the other conversations you're having with fellow council folks about how they're going to vote on this?
For sure. The one thing I can say is we take very seriously that we are the elected representatives of this community, the 9 of us. Our Planning and Zoning Commission, which is an advisory board, actually gave us an 8-1 vote supporting this, but we're the ones who are accountable to voters, and we are definitely hearing you. If you're watching this, I want you to know that.
All right, Ian, appreciate your time this morning.
Thanks so much, Brian.
All right, time is now 8:22 this morning. We got a lot more to come here on Good Day Chicago, including a conversation with Lou as the Bears season ends in heartbreak with a loss to the Rams.
Everything you need to get stronger is
Well, Chicago, the storybook season has ended. Sunday night's game came down to overtime, and that was pretty much the fate. An interception there led to a walk-off field goal for the Rams, with the Bears falling 20-17. Our Lou Canellis is here to recap what was a really great season and to talk about the playoff picture going forward. Good morning to you, Lou.
Hey, good morning, Brian.
So I want to start with, what do you say about what happened on that final interception? What did the Bears have to say following that one?
Well, we'll learn more today when Ben Johnson talks to the media again, and Caleb Williams does as well. It'll give those guys a chance to look back at the film and the play to see exactly what happened. DJ Moore left the locker room last night without talking to the media. Should he have taken a steeper angle with the route he ran? Looked like he ran a bad route, but I'm not a wide receiver. I definitely didn't play on the NFL level. So for me to question, I'm just telling you as a fan what I saw on the TV. Didn't look like he ran the route hard enough. Obviously, everyone wants to play Monday morning quarterback on social media. So a number of people have offered their opinions, and most of them are critical of what DJ Moore did. We'll learn more today. That's the best answer I'll give you.
Speaking of critical decisions, what do you think about Ben Johnson's maybe aggressive tactics earlier in the game, where he went for it a couple of times on fourth downs and the Bears potentially left some points on the board there?
You know, I always like to say we're all experts the day after.
This is true.
And Ben went into the game telling the media and telling the fans he would be aggressive again against the Rams, which typically in Ben Johnson's lingo means I'm going for it on fourth down. And he went 2 for 6. Sometimes it works. Sometimes it doesn't. Should he have kicked 2 field goals early on? Yeah, as we look back, probably. But you get what you pay for. And I don't think there's a fan out there that would be critical of our head coach and what he did with this football team this season. And some of his decisions are going to work and some are not. If anyone out there is willing to give Ben Johnson back into the pool so another team can hire him as their head coach, go for it. I think you'd be making a mistake. Was he too aggressive? Probably. But I think at that point, early in the game, Brian, he wasn't sure how well his defense was going to play against football's best offense. And that defense was terrific. And let's not overlook the way Dennis Allen, defensive coordinator, and that defense played against probably the MVP in the NFL this year in that Rams offense.
Makes you think what our defense could have been like all year if we had a healthy Kyler Gordon. He was great out there. Speaking of Ben Johnson, what are you going to remember from his first season at the helm of the Bears?
Oh, my gosh. How he took a franchise that, frankly, was lost, was embarrassing last year, won only 5 games, was firing coaches right and left, no stability whatsoever, had the #1 pick in the draft back in 2024, not even listening to coaches, sitting on the bench, no structure, no discipline. He took that team, all right, and brought in his rules and got those players to follow his lead, and basically told that roster when they went to training camp, it's my way or the highway. And you know what? They all followed. And he took a quarterback and he broke down his game and he taught him, the Heisman Trophy winner, how to play the position differently and put Caleb Williams in the best way to succeed. That's what I will remember about Ben Johnson and this team, and then the way they fought back, and he had this team believing all year long that they were never out of a game. And he has, listen, the fans said it all when the Bears left the field last night and gave that team a standing ovation. That is how thankful Bears fans were for what the Bears did and what Ben Johnson did this past season.
And well-deserved standing ovation by the crowd there for sure. People forget we were in last place this time last year.
First to first, they like to say.
Yes. Ben Johnson giving the entire city hope. Thanks so much for your time this morning, Lou.
All right, Brian. Always a pleasure.
All right. Well, mentoring, he can go a long way in making an impact in a young person's life. We're going to speak with a couple of mentors about how it helps them as well. Caitlin?
Cold weather advisory in place until midday with the feeling temperature of about 25 degrees below zero possible. very dangerously cold. Also slick. We have gusty winds. You can see that happening behind me. Will temperatures improve at all this week? I'll let you know with your 7-day forecast ahead. Stay with us.
Welcome back. Time now 8:33. Seeing some sunshine out there, but don't be fooled and make sure you dress in some layers because it is dangerously cold out there this morning.
Yeah, and I don't think last week we had all of that snow on the lakefront. So there's your warning, friends. The Pentagon preparing about 1,500 active duty troops to be sent to Minneapolis if the president uses the Insurrection Act. He threatened to evoke it last week to stop protests about ICE. The troops would come from the 11th Airborne Division in Alaska. But the White House says just because the troops are being prepared does not mean they will be deployed.
Starting Wednesday, the State Department is freezing immigrant visa processing for 75 countries. This indefinite pause includes Somalia, Russia, Afghanistan, Iran, Brazil, Egypt, Nigeria, Yemen, and more. The State Department says that the freeze will remain active as long as it takes to ensure that new migrants are not using social welfare services.
Well, if you are wild enough to make a last-minute trip to Miami for the national championship game, kiss your kids' college fund goodbye. SeatGeek says the cheapest seat is over $4,100. That is the upper deck. If you want to sit in the lower bowl, that is $20 grand.
Quite a penny, right? All right, well, time is now 8:34. It is a day to celebrate the life and legacy of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. by following his lead.
Roseanne is live with how some students are taking part in a day of service. Good morning, Roseanne.
Good morning. Well, I am with about 700 volunteers. They're just beginning to arrive, and they're gathering, and they're getting their marching orders this morning for a day of service at Morgan Park High School. And I have with me now Dr. Laquel Palmer Pratt and also Desire Hicks. Dr. Pratt is one of the managing director of partnerships and civic engagement, and Desire is one of the volunteers. So let's start with you, Dr. Palmer Pratt. Tell us what exactly you're planning to do here. I know it's a day to beautify the school. How are you going to do that?
Super excited to be here at Morgan Park. This is our 32nd MLK celebration. We are going to beautify the school, provide different projects to help bring excitement and school spirit. Very excited to be back at my school. I actually graduated from Morgan Park, so it's personal for me. I'm filled with so much gratitude. It's 200 core members here, and it's below. It's freezing outside. It's freezing outside, but they are fired up and they are ready to serve. So excited.
They showed up. So they're getting numbers over here. Is that, I see project numbers, and that tells them.
Right. They're all assigned to different projects, and so they will help to motivate our volunteers, get them excited about the service, coach them through it. And this is a huge building, so they want to make sure no one gets lost.
Right. So they're going to be doing things, I understand, like painting murals, putting together veterans kits. What are some of the other things?
Yes. So we'll also be doing some teacher motivational kits. We're going to be doing some murals in the restrooms to help it feel more cute in the bathrooms. And then we're also going to be doing some HBCU pennants, some college support for our young people that are testing and getting them excited. So lots of fun projects.
Okay, let me talk to Desire now. Thank you, Dr. Palmer Pratt. Desire, you were telling me how you came to this. You used to have a job in retail. But what made you make the switch? What was it about this program that drew you?
It is City Year's mission, which is to serve a cause greater than self. And I knew that, when I read through their mission statement, I'm like, serving a cause greater than self is exactly what I want to do. So I applied, and here I am.
And what is your title? What do you do?
So I am on City Year Civic Engagement Team. This is my 3rd year serving with City Year. And it's been beautiful, very life-changing. Yeah.
Yeah, I can just tell are you organizing people today? Because you have that large and in charge personality.
Yes, so I am actually an area coordinator today. So I will be overseeing a certain amount of projects today along with my other teammates who, I'm representing for right now.
Well, I love that enthusiasm and energy that you both have this morning.
Thank you. We got to bring it. This is what City Year is all about. Keeping the core engaged, keeping the community engaged, and keeping ourselves engaged in a beautiful service that we do.
Look at her. I'm telling you, people are signing up now. Just go to the website, and you can be as happy as she is.
Yes, you can.
Well, thank you both for talking to us. We're going to be here throughout the morning as they get to work here at Morgan Park. They're starting with a little breakfast and getting that boost of energy for a very good cause. And so we'll be checking back in throughout the morning. Back to you in the studio.
Definitely good to see the kids out there for the day of service.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, under pressure to address rising costs, President Trump is asking for Congress to take up his own health care plan.
The framework focuses on lowering drug prices and insurance premiums and sending money directly to Americans to pay for health savings accounts. But the plan does not extend expired affordable health care subsidies that have left millions facing higher premiums. It does not account for people with pre-existing conditions either.
My plan ends the giant kickbacks to insurance brokers and corporate middlemen.
There are bipartisan bills that if the president was interested in lowering the cost of health care, he could work with Democrats on.
The White House did not offer details on how much money the plan would send to consumers or whether money would be available to all Obamacare enrollees.
Iran's president says that if the U.S. attacks, it will lead to an all-out war. More than 3,900 people have been killed during protests in Iran. President Trump has said if Iran killed peaceful protesters, that it would launch a military strike. The White House says it is waiting to see just what happens.
The warnings over measles not going away anytime soon. The CDC has confirmed more than 170 infections across nearly a dozen states. The CDC says about 95% happen in people who are unvaccinated or have an unknown status. The agency currently recommends 2 doses of the measles, mumps, and rubella vaccine.
The best way to protect yourself from measles is to be immunized. Most of us were vaccinated as children, but we encourage folks to check their immunization records and make sure they're up to date.
Last year, the U.S. recorded its highest number of measles cases in more than 30 years. Doctors reported more than 2,200 cases across nearly every state. Public health leaders warned the same could happen this year if vaccination rates do not increase. This is just a super troubling story. A Florida woman has been arrested for pretending to be the family of a Camp Mystic flood victim to scam donations. Madeline White allegedly used GoFundMe and SpotMe to take money meant for Chloe Childress's family. Childress, a 19-year-old counselor, died in the deadly flooding, along with 26 other children and staff. White faces extradition to Texas and 2 felony charges for online impersonation.
Go get a job. Go find a job. There's a lot of resources, both I know here in Harris County and in Florida, that you can get if you need some assistance. But the last thing that you should ever even contemplate is doing something connected to such a tragedy like this. I made a promise and a commitment to people, especially to the Childress family, that we would bring this person to justice. So I didn't care if she lived in Florida or lived out of the country. We were going to get her. And as promised, we did. We contacted our friends and the U.S. Marshals, Gulf Coast Violent Offenders Task Force in Florida. They picked her up. They actually had to kick in her door. She wasn't cooperative, and actually brought her to jail. She has subsequently picked up a battery case in Florida, so that case has got to be resolved and dealt with prior to her being extradited to Harris County, where she can face justice here.
Camp Mystic plans to reopen this summer with new safety upgrades, including flood monitoring and emergency systems. So that reopening is very, very controversial.
All right, time is now 8:42 this morning. Let's take a look at this. This is a mummy that Natalie might want to see. Scientists have found 7 cheetah mummies in a cave in Saudi Arabia. While the mummification process is usually done by other people, scientists say that it happened to the cheetahs naturally. They believe that the cave's dry air and cool temperatures played the biggest role.
That is really interesting, isn't it?
It is.
All right, 8:42 now this morning, and we've got snow on the ground here in the Chicagoland area and freezing temperatures, Caitlin.
It is very cold. And if you thought yesterday was cold, take a look at our 24-hour temperature difference. 5 to 10 degrees colder than we were even yesterday at this time. You're going to feel it this morning. Limit your exposure if you can, actually, and hopefully you don't have to feel it this morning. The actual temperature is 1 degree below zero currently at the lakefront as well as O'Hare. 0 at Midway, 1 degree in Gary and Valpo. Feel like temperature, the wind chill, which is going to play a huge role in how you should get ready, especially early today. We have gusty winds above 30 miles per hour, so it feels like 23 degrees below zero at the lakefront. 20 degrees below zero at O'Hare, all the way down to 27 degrees below zero for that wind chill in DeKalb. So all of us are dangerously cold, and that's going to be the case throughout the entire day. So let's take you through our day with the wind chill. Lunchtime hour still feeling like around 17 degrees below zero. Heading on into this evening, 5, 6 o'clock, feeling like we could be around 10 degrees below zero. So the feel like temperature for the entire day today is going to be below zero in Chicagoland. Also, by the way, it could be slick out there on the roads this morning. Keep that in mind before you head out. Tomorrow morning, 7 a.m., still feeling like 8 degrees below zero. So the kiddos going back to school tomorrow, it is going to be dangerously cold at the bus stop. As we head into the afternoon hours on your Tuesday, it feels like we could be around 10 to 15 degrees. So cold temperatures. Headline for today, tomorrow, back to 30 degrees on Wednesday, but then we have the chance for a little bit of snow Tuesday night into Wednesday. 20 degrees as our high on Thursday, ending the week with that brutally cold air again, with highs in the single digits on Friday as well as Saturday. Back to 13 on Sunday. Back to you.
The Indiana Hoosiers are playing in the biggest football game of their lives tonight.
On Good Day Chicago at 9, we'll get a preview of the game with a sports writer from the Indianapolis Star and what IU has to do to rock Miami like a hurricane.
His dream lives on.
Well, this is National Mentor Month, and 2 teachers were honored and surprised last week in front of their peers for the role they play in the lives of kids. And they are joining us this morning. Rachel Bostic is a teacher and coach at Mattia Valley High School in Aurora, and Lisa Simon is a teacher and coach at Plainfield East High School. Welcome in, you two.
Thank you for having us.
Thanks for having us. Yes. So when you think of mentorship, can be life-changing for kids. We all know that. So let's talk a little bit about your experience. Talk about how you found mentoring children really changed lives. We'll start with you.
Okay. So I was granted this opportunity at my school to work with our Grow Your Own Teachers program as a graduate of my school district. They thought it would be cool to have someone leading the program to show students what educators do in their day. So we give them the opportunity to kind of explore our school district and work with teachers and see the behind the scenes, because everyone wants to be a teacher until they realize teaching's really hard.
Yeah.
So it's been a really awesome opportunity to work with these kids who want to be teachers and who do the things that they are preparing themselves to be teachers. And we actually have our first cohort of kids graduating from college this spring, so we're very excited.
That is wonderful, and hopefully
cool.
they'll come back to the district.
Fingers crossed.
And teach.
I keep sending them emails. I'm like, send me resumes. Let me know what you're doing, because we want. I mean, our profession is challenging.
Yes.
And we want kids to see that the things that we get to do and the experiences that we get to have every day are so worthwhile and meaningful.
Lisa, tell me about you were teaching special education, now you're teaching phys ed.
Yes.
And tell me a little bit about your mentorship path at your school.
Okay, so I coach both boys and girls soccer as well, and so I'm usually trying to work with kids and also have a leadership council at school. It's kind of like the NHS of athletes, and so we want to do stuff where we're giving back to the community. We have kids that go into our feeder schools, and the nice thing is hearing from those students, like when they come to the high school, they want to be a part of this program. We do stuff within the community, helping out at the school with events in our sports, and if they need something at the school play, if they need somebody to help hand out the brochures, the playlist for the play, we try to be involved with that and support our peers and just do give community service, try to help with our Bags of Hope. I know talking with other groups within the school, like Student Council, we have a St. Baldrick's campaign that's going to be coming up. So just trying to be a part of everything and be seen in the community and giving back to our community as well.
And I think, too, integrating those kids in the community kind of ensures that they do come back home after they get that college education, because they feel that connection, right?
We actually have 2 basketball coaches, actually 3 on our boys basketball staff that obviously played at the school. 2 of them were part of the leadership program that I'm in charge of, and they're now coaching
that is
with
awesome.
our kids. So
awesome. What does it take, do you think, to be a good mentor, Rachel?
Honestly, some days I think it's just showing up for kids. I think a lot of these kids, they're so over-involved, and sometimes their whole lives are just school and sports or clubs and things, and I think sometimes they just need to have someone in their corner that says, like, keep doing the good things that you're doing. And I think their families are great supporters, but I think when you can build that relationship and just show up for kids and all the things that we do, going to their, I like to go to their plays. I saw Macbeth this fall. I think just showing up in ways that show them you care more about them outside of the classroom.
And then let's talk a little bit about, for adults in the world like myself who are not teachers, we don't have access to students all the time, how can we help out? What can we do to be good mentors, do you think, Lisa?
I think being positive role models and showing them, like, hey, these things you guys are doing that are good. I know Joe does an excellent job showcasing the kids when they're out in the community, part of the tournament. So I think showing them that what you're doing is making an impact on them, and what you're doing is making an impact outside of the building, and it's just going to lead to so many more possibilities as well.
What are you thinking, Rachel?
Honestly, I think showing up for your community makes a difference, and I think, doing things like we have the Polar Plunge coming up. I'm participating in the Polar Plunge, and things that are. I know, I'm not excited about it, but it'll be okay.
I'll donate. I won't participate.
I think doing those things in our community and showing kids that, like, our world is so much more than just your job and being with your friends, but giving back to the people that give to you, I think is such an incredible experience.
Well, good luck to the both of you. Thank you for educating our next generation. You guys are so amazing, and everything that comes with it. Thank you. All right, let's send it back over to Caitlin.
Okay, talking about these temperatures in a polar plunge. Are you kidding? That sounds, it was hard to get out of bed this morning, let alone jumping in the lake. Okay, So this morning, actual temperatures right now are below zero. It's 1 degree below zero at the lakefront as well as O'Hare. We're sitting at 0 at Midway. But the feel-like temperature, that wind chill, is about 20 to 25 degrees below zero. So it is dangerously cold this morning. Also, I expect slick spots out there. Talking about the wind chill, I wanted to show it to you on the maps. 23 degrees below zero is what it feels like at the lakefront. 24 degrees below zero at Midway. 26 degrees below zero in Aurora. 22 below zero in Gary. So highs today. This was earlier, 18. This afternoon, we're going to be in the single digits. So I will say around 5 to 10 degrees for most of us. But it feels like we could be below zero all day long. Tonight, temperatures dropping down to the single digits. It's going to be another cold night, and tomorrow even, it's going to be dangerously chilly with the feel-like temperature into the low teens, perhaps, with highs in the 20s, so a very cold start to our work week. Here's your Futurecast to show that we have the potential for some flurries around through about midday, but most of us are going to be staying dry through today. Heading into tomorrow, again, it's going to be a cold day, but generally quiet until we get into late tomorrow, and the potential for snow does return. So take a look at the top of your screen here as we get on into the evening, 7, 8 o'clock, starting to see some snow approach, and we do have the chance for some snowfall into the first part of your Wednesday as well. Temperatures are going to be dropping again at the end of the week. So we have a slow climb to Wednesday with a high of about 30, then down to 20 on Thursday. Friday and Saturday highs back to the single digits. Stay warm out there.
Injured.
Welcome back. Live Look outside at the Bean. We've got some brave souls out there because temperatures are basically zero, but people are still, I guess, getting some sunshine out there at the Bean. Well, if you're having a good debate about whether or not you should eat that leftover pasta, science says go ahead and do it.
See, I feel like that's a safer food. Now, if we talk about leftover tuna, that's a whole nother story.
Seafood,
No. You may have seen online claims that leftover pasta is easier on your blood sugar than fresh pasta, and science says that's not entirely wrong. Heating and cooling starchy foods can slow digestion. Scientists say some of the digestible starches turn into resistant starch, which resists digestion and causes less sugar to go into your bloodstream. Let's just forget all that, because that was a lot. Leftover pasta delivers fewer digestible calories and a smaller rise in blood sugar after meals. That's the bottom line. Experts warn while the effect is real, it depends on the person and is not a guaranteed cure-all hack. But that does look good.
Spaghetti always tastes better the next day, too, by the way.
Fox 32 News is brought to you